Roger from Photoshop Island. I'm going to show you some tips and tricks for the brand new 2012 annual Photoshop Island calendars. And I'm going to show you how to get those calendars to show up in your Photoshop flyout menu. I'm going to show you how to make your calendar stronger, lighter, or darker depending on what you're working with. I'm also going to show you how to isolate colors on a calendar so you maybe can have the days and the months be different colors. So let's jump in and let's take a look at these tips and tricks. The first tip I want to show you is how to have the 2012 annual calendar show up in your Photoshop flyout menu. So what you need to do is locate your applications folder on your hard drive, and inside of that folder should be your version of Photoshop. I'm going to show this with Photoshop CS5. I should mention before I do this that you should not be running Photoshop when you do this, because the brushes will not show up if Photoshop is running until you restart Photoshop. So I don't have Photoshop running right now. Now I'm going to open up this Photoshop directory, and inside of that directory is a presets directory, and inside of the presets directory is a brushes directory. Here is the brushes that are in here are most likely your default brushes that came with Photoshop. Now, somewhere on your computer you should have the downloaded and unzipped 2012 calendar brushes directory from Photoshop Island. And you open that, and there is a brushes directory. And inside of there are the 3 sets of Photoshop Island 2012 Photoshop brushes, and you can select those. Now you can just drag these straight over. I'm going to option drag them to copy them into this directory. Now I'm going to start Photoshop, and let's locate those brushes in Photoshop. Just for demonstration purposes, I'm going to go ahead and make a demo document here, just 1000 by 1000 pixels. So I've got my brush tool selected, and I'm going to look for the calendar brushes. They're not here. Okay, well, they're not here yet. So we're going to use the brushes menu flyout here, and there are the brushes right down here that we've loaded into that directory. I'm going to go ahead and load up the 3x4. These brushes are going to load up into the immediate brush palette. Now what you want to do here most likely is pick append. If you just select OK, this will replace your current set of brushes with the calendar brushes. So I'd say in most cases you probably want to append this. Now you can also reset your brushes and get your original brushes back. So if you do say OK, it's not a big deal. Just go back up to the brushes flyout menu and reset your brushes. So here now the new brushes are showing up here. These are the 3x4 brushes, and I'm just going to select one, and let's take a look at this. Now the brush is really big. It's 25 by 2500 pixels, so I'm going to reduce this down to fit in our 1000 by 1000, and I'm just going to stamp down, and presto, I've got my 2012 calendar placed in this document. I just want to show one other quick thing. These brushes work in older versions of Photoshop as well as in Photoshop Elements. So if you want to do this with Photoshop Elements, you can locate your Photoshop Elements directory inside of your Applications directory. If you open that, you'll have a Presets directory, and inside of that Presets directory you will have a Brushes directory, and again you can just copy or drag these brushes into your Photoshop Elements. And that is how you get the Photoshop brushes to show up in your menu and have them accessible quickly whenever you need them. The next trick I want to show you is some of these brushes are less bold, they're a little more light or a little fine based on the font that they were designed with. And let's switch this to white on our brush selector. Now I have the brush already selected, and I wanted to show you a way to make these lighter brushes a little stronger. If you click down once, you can see that it's pretty light, and even if you zoom in, you can still see it, but it's pretty light. So let's go back and try this again. Same brush, and I have white still selected. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to locate the calendar where I want to put it. And now a lot of times I like to work with these on different layers. So in this case, let's just, for kicks, in case we mess something up, let's just make a new layer. And now we're working in this new layer. Now locate your calendar where you want, and then don't move your mouse when you do this, but just click down twice, 3 times, maybe 4 times. See how much brighter and stronger that looks. Now, you know, it just depends on the font and the resolution of the image that you're working with, but you may want to experiment with that a little bit to get these calendars a little brighter and bolder. Again, it'll also depend on which particular calendar design that you've selected. It'll depend on your background. I picked black here just to show kind of an extreme example. So give that a try if you'd like to add a little strength to these brushes. Okay, now for another tip. Let's say you have a calendar and you want to highlight a month in a different color. I'm going to go ahead and select a brush. I've got a calendar brush here selected. I've created a new blank layer, and I'm just going to stamp down with my calendar, and I've got that. Now, let's say I want the month of May to be a different color for whatever reason. So I'm going to create a new layer. This layer will be above the one we just made. And let's say I want to make May kind of more of a blue color. So I select a blue, and I'm going to locate the brush back in about the same location. Going to stamp down. Now I have the blue, but it's over the top of the green. Then I'm going to select the month of May, and I'm just going to put a mask on that. And now I have May masked out over the rest of the months. But I got a little bit of a problem here because I also have the green version of May underneath. So what we need to do is sort of do the opposite effect to the first calendar, the light green one. So I'm going to go over to the mask that I just made. I'm over here on this layer in the mask, and I'm going to click on the Command or Control key to select my mask that I just selected. But now what I want to do is I want to invert that because I want the opposite. So I'm going to go, I'm just going to show you where this is in the menu. There's also a keyboard shortcut. I'm going to inverse that, and then I'm going to go to the original first calendar and select that, and I'm going to create a mask there. Now I have the calendar on 2 different months with the 2 different colors that I wanted. Now you could also do this exact same thing. Let's I'm going to discard these 2 masks for these 2 layers, and I want to show another possibility. Let's say that I decided that I wanted just the names of the months to be a different color. So I could select all of those months, and I'm holding down the Shift key as I'm selecting so I can do multiple selections. And I'm on my blue layer here, so let's mask. So I've got my months in light green, but I can see the blue. So I want to do the same thing again. I'm going to go back and Command or Control select the mask. I'm going to go to Selection, Inverse. I'm going to go up to the top layer, and I'm going to create a mask there. Now I've got this kind of cool calendar where I'm able to show the months in different colors without too much work. Cool! Thanks for watching this Photoshop Island tutorial. Make sure you stop by photoshopisland.com and look at all the great freebies and products, including this 2012 Photoshop Island annual calendar product. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.